Hey y'all, it's Jessie with Lost Marbles Farm. We actually have tournament games today, all-star tournament games today, but I have a hot second, so I'm going to run out here to the garden and pick the onions. Some of the onions, the yellow onions. We have had the hottest temperatures, and next week's going to even be hotter. I am not a super experienced onion grower, so I don't know how it's going to react with this heat. So let me just show you. These two rows here are our red onions, and they were quite a bit smaller when I planted them, so it's they're growing a little bit slower, but I don't know. Do you ever do experiments? I don't know about you guys, but I do experiments all the time with gardening, and then I'll do one thing to like half the plants, and the other half of the plants I won't use, like to see how well diatomaceous earth works on keeping pests away. I'll sprinkle it on half my squash plants and then the other half not, and then compare them. So I'm always doing stuff like that. So here are my yellow onions. Now, they were not, when onions are ready, do you see how this is laying down? They're going to lay down on their own when they're ready. There is a so when they're ready, they'll fall over. And the rule of thumb is when 50% of your patch is laying down, they're ready to pull. Now, I only had like a couple that were laying down, so I went ahead and forced them into this status, I guess you could say, because with these ridiculously hot temperatures and no rain in sight, I just was afraid of losing all of them. Like they wouldn't do well in the heat, but I don't know. They may do fine. So that's my reasoning behind harvesting these now, and I'm gonna let these red ones go and just see how they do with this heat. Like I said, they may do fine, but they may not. I would hate to lose all of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these onions, and my plans are, if you'll look here, there's where my onions are. That's where the soft neck garlic that I've already harvested is, and back here is my hard neck variety, which is not ready to harvest just yet. My plan is once I do harvest the hard neck garlic, I'm going to probably add more peat moss, maybe some more sand, and lots of manure, and cover this area. And I want this to be part of my fall garden. I'll start planting it toward the end of summer, so it's gonna rest during the rest of this summer heat, and I'll feed the ground real good, have it ready to go for our fall garden. We always end up getting it in too late because it's so hot forever. We have the weirdest weather here in Tennessee, so I need to get on the game and start the seeds, my broccoli and cabbage seeds, in the house, probably start them in August. That's the plan anyway. All right, so not a crazy amount of onions. I'd love to one day do huge rows of it because we use a ton of onions and they're easy to put up. You can dehydrate them or freeze them. I did have to throw out 3 or 4 that were squishy. Now, I don't know if that's from some type of pest or if possibly it was because of the hot temperatures. I won't know until I do a little bit more research. But once you pull them out of the ground, you need to get them in the shade, and they need to not touch, and they need to dry out if you want them for long-term storage, or if you're just planning on using them immediately to put up, that's fine too. You just don't want to leave them out here because once they're pulled, they're susceptible to sunburn. That I do know. Okay, so I'm going to take these onions and go put them up somewhere. We did go ahead and start harvesting some of the potatoes. We did just a few plants, maybe like 5 plants. Not an astronomical amount of potatoes on them, but we did get at least 4 to 5 potatoes off of each plant. Not, like I said, we've done way better in the past, but that's what we got this time. I'm leaving the rest in the ground because that's a place you can actually leave them in the ground because they'll stay nice and cool. As long as you're not getting a crazy amount of rain, they'll be fine. If you get tons of rain while they're in the ground after they're done, they may rot, possibly. But we don't have any fear of that now, so rather than me have to deal with them and put them up or find a place to store them, I'm just not going to sweat it. I'm going to leave them in the ground till I need them. All right, you guys, this is just a tiny little video about our onions. I'll keep you guys updated. We'll probably show you a potato harvest because the kids love to get in on that. That is probably our favorite vegetable to harvest. But I'll try to get that up sometime this week. All right, I'll have a great weekend and happy Father's Day, guys.